Okay, this video will show the importing of a 3D step file and how we can either just unroll it and cut it as it was designed, or we can add features to it. Once you start the software, click the 3D button. From this point, we want to click the CAD import button. Select our 3D model. 3D model will input along with information about the 3D model. As far as the outside, in the particular one, it's round. So we have an outside dimension, a wall thickness, and then a length. Now from this point, we could just unroll this. It's ready. We designed it this way. But let's say we need to add a hole to it. We don't want to go all the way back into SolidWorks or any other program that we've used to design it. We can just add features to this. So we could add a round hole, 1 inch diameter, 4 inches from the left end, or we could do the right end. We can add a rotational, a center offset, maybe a 1/2 inch center offset. We could do an angle, and then a rotation. Angle will do 45 degrees. This back to the center. Click apply. Now that only did it on one side. If we wanted to go all the way through, we can click the through all button. Alright, once we're happy with and we've added everything we need to add to it, we click the unroll. And we can see that our path is, this is the path the torch is going to take for the two ends and the hole at a 45-degree angle. Now from this point, we click our CNC output button. This creates what's called a TCS file. Now it will name it whatever the step file was named. However, you can change it. You need to leave the extension TCS. I'm going to leave this test. Where we save files is we use a customer folder, and then within that customer there'll be a contract, and then the file name. So there's basically 3 different files we'll be working with. The original step file that was drawn in a dedicated 3D modeling program. We brought that in. We've added a feature to it. Now we did not alter the step file. However, we could have. And let me go back to that after I cover this. We could have saved it as a step file. In this particular case, I did not. I just added a feature. I unrolled it. This is where our second file comes in. This is the second type. That unrolled file is now called a TCS file. It has the TCS extension. We're then going to take that TCS and convert it into G-code or instructions for the machine to cut out, and that will be an NC file. So we'll have 3 different files: the original step file, the unrolled step, which is a TCS, and then the cutting file, a cutting program, which is an NC file. So once I choose OK, it saves it. Now we can go into the nesting portion of the program where we define what we're cutting. First thing we do is pick our customer. It's test. Contract is test. What's our material? Well, we can do the 1 3/4. 0.12 is the wall. There's the test program. That's the step file I just imported. And we can tell how many we want of those. So I want 10 of those. Now, we need to be aware here, we need to put how much material we have and the length that it is. Okay, so in this particular case, being round, I'm going to put that it's 240 inches, and I've got 10 of those. Alright, so I have 10 sticks of 240 inch long material. I want 10 of these cut out. Click Nest. It's going to ask where I want to save this NC file. I'm going to save it under Documents, and I created a sample G-code folder. I'm going to give it a name, Test, and I'm going to click Save. Alright, once a NC file is saved and paths are generated, we get a nesting report. What this tells us is everything about the nesting. So it tells us what the material is, our clamp waist, our part shift movement in between cuts, what we wanted cut, and then how many items on each one, and then how much waste we will have left. All right, so where did this go? We saved it into, we told it where to save it, so I put it into My Documents, and then it was under Sample G-Code. Now you're going to see that we're going to have 3 different programs. Okay, test is the G-code or path to cut one of these. So you can just cut a single. Test nest 1 stick is the first length of this. So it's going to take 2 lengths to cut 10 of these parts. This is going to be the first length. This will be the second length. This is a single part. If we had put something like 1,000 in here, where it would take now 200 lengths or 20 lengths, then we would actually have 1 through 20 in the nesting program. So there would be actually 21 different files. There would be the single part and then each nest. The same holds true if you have multiple products or parts out of that same material. For example, if I had chosen the square, I have 4 different products here, parts here. If I nested 50 of those, 60 of those, and 12 of those, it's going to create all the different files we need to get all those cut. But it's also going to create 3 unique files for each one of those that is a single. And that's actually pretty handy, because if you find that you need 1 more, you don't have to go all the way back in here and generate, or even 2 more. You can just load stock and cut 1. You don't have to go back and say, oh, I need to load a stick and just nest a program with just 1 on it. It automatically saves that. Back to the 3D model. So back at the beginning, I go to my 3D model I had to that I wanted to import. So this is the model that we imported. I added a hole. It will remember what I had done before. I'm going to do a through all on this. Apply and OK. And you can see that we now have pull through. At this point, I can give this file a name. And I can put changed test. Select what type of file I want to save it in, and save it. So you can actually create step files from here. This works also with the conversational. So that I do recommend you save your step files, because once it's unrolled, we cannot get back from this to the 3D model. We don't have a method of doing that. So I really recommend that you save your 3D step files if you've altered them. So again, you'll have 3 basic files for every part. You'll have the step file, whether it was created in this program or in another program. That's your original. Then you'll have the unrolled of that step file. And then you'll have the NC, which is the cutting path for that particular part.